So your 20s will determine the rest of your life, and it's going to be the deciding factor in whether you end up like 97% of men who live unfulfilling lives and wake up when they're 40 wondering how life ended up like it did. The ones who drown out their lives by turning on the TV to escape. The ones who wake up and dread going to work. The ones who settle for an average wife they can barely tolerate. But for those of you who understand the importance of building in your 20s, you will end up in the top 3% of men. The men who get their dream girl. The men who live wherever they want in the world. The men who live a life aligned with their purpose. And your success won't come down to the books you read, but the action you take. So that's why in this video, I'm gonna tell you the 7 habits that'll get you ahead of 97% of men in your 20s. And these aren't the corny habits you see in other YouTube videos telling you to read or work out. These are the unconventional habits that have allowed me to scale my business to multi-6-figure months, travel the world, and live a life of complete freedom by the age of 25. And they go against the grain of what many will tell you, but that's exactly the point. Now, the first habit is one of the most crucial, and that is practicing solitude. And I can't stress this enough. In a world where everyone's chasing clout, likes, and validation, you need to be different. And the number one reason why today's men are broke and purposeless is because they're trying to be someone they think everyone else wants them to be. For example, I grew up as a chubby, ugly kid, and I never got attention from the women I liked. So when I started working out and getting interest from women, I chased that validation. My self-worth revolved around what other women thought of me. And ironically, that was the very thing that became unappealing to high-value women. Meanwhile, I could have been laser focused on educating and improving myself, and my growth would have compounded 100 times faster. And even if you do get people to like you, it's like building a skyscraper on shifting sands, and it might appear stable, but it can collapse at any moment. Because as long as you're coming from a place of need from people, you will give all your power away because outside forces dictate your happiness. So learn to enjoy your own company so you don't waste your life chasing validation from others. So take walks alone, go to cafes alone, travel abroad alone, hell, go to movies alone. At first, it's going to feel uncomfortable, but that's the point. Over time, you're going to learn to become happy with yourself. And when you have someone come into your life, your relationship will be based on abundance and not scarcity. And real power is when you welcome people into your life, but if they were to leave, you know you would be okay. Now, the second habit is delaying gratification. And in today's world, the modern devil is cheap dopamine. And every day, your dopamine is being manipulated. Phones, social media, hyper-palatable foods. And this puts you on a never-ending hamster wheel of hopping from stimulus to stimulus. And over time, you become like 90% of people, unable to focus for more than 5 minutes. So make it a daily practice to delay gratification. Pick one habit: writing, reading, meditation, anything with no immediate reward, and practice it for 5 minutes and increase the time every session. And over a period of a week, months, and years, you will develop laser-like focus. And this leads perfectly into the next crucial habit, which is viewing life as a video game. So while other men waste their days playing actual video games and jerking off to pixels all day long, turn your life into a video game. View every goal in your life as a final boss. Every gym session boosts your strength stat. Every book read boosts your intelligence stat. Every stranger talked to boosts your charisma stat. Get in the habit of sitting down once a week to track and gamify your progress. If you want to take it a step further, use tech to track it in even more detail. So if it's nutrition, use an app like MyFitnessPal. If it's working out, use some tech like a Whoop. If it is tracking sleep, then use an Oura Ring. When you view your life as a video game, leveling up will become a hell of a lot more fun. Now, habit 4 goes against what society will tell you, and that is taking tactical risks. So most people are playing it safe and coloring inside the lines. They do everything society tells them. Go to school, get a degree, get a job, ask for a raise, save up, invest in index funds, and if you're lucky, have enough to retire by the age of 65. And by all means, if you want to live an average life, you can do that. There's nothing wrong with that. But don't expect to live an above average life of success when you're living like the average person. And it's important to remember, your risk to reward ratio will never be better than in your 20s. I mean, you could fuck up for 10 years straight and still be okay in your 30s. Your downside is limited to 0, but your upside is limitless. And this all changes once you introduce a family, kids, a mortgage, and other responsibilities into your life. So you need to use this time you have to take tactical risks. And I'm being very specific with my wording here, tactical risks. I'm not telling you to blow all your money in Dogecoin and pray to God it skyrockets, but don't be afraid to fail. If you have a business idea, pursue it. If you want to take that trip abroad, book the plane ticket, make decisions, and give yourself permission to screw up. If you always live a life doing what people tell you, you're going to live a life of regret and what ifs when you get to your deathbed. Now, the fifth habit is writing, and there's a good reason why Jordan Peterson says that is the #1 skill someone can learn. Because at the end of the day, writing is focused thinking. It forces you to develop one idea at a time. It's not like a thought where you can bounce around from idea to idea. When you have pen and you have paper, you are forced to think. And just like your body can't build muscle without exertion, your mind can't build understanding without thinking. So buy a high quality journal and an expensive pen, and actually invest a good amount into it, because when you financially commit to this, you will be much more likely to follow through with the habit. And block out 10 to 30 minutes a day, set a timer, no notifications, no people around, and just write. Put down whatever comes down in your thoughts. And if you can't think of anything, just document what you did that day, and thoughts will naturally come up. And this will clear your mind of all extra chatter. And over time, you will think clearer and you will speak more articulate. Now, the sixth habit is saying no. And this has two parts. So at the start, when you are pursuing success, saying no is going to come down to turning down things from your old life. So 3 years ago, when I was trying to make it an online business, I turned down partying for working. My old friends' goals didn't align with who I wanted to become. And yeah, it sucked to see them having fun while I was sitting at my laptop, but I had the long-term horizon in mind and what I wanted to be. Now, I'm not saying you can't go out and party once in a while, but if you think you can go out every weekend and become in the top 1% of any area of life, you are delusional. There are seasons for life, and when you are starting and trying to get the momentum, you're going to be in a season of saying no. But this is where it gets tricky, because once you get momentum in life and you start making money, you're going to have more and more opportunities presented to you, and they're going to look like the next best thing. And you'll think to yourself, oh, I can balance X, Y, and Z. More opportunities means more money, right? But you have finite focus. So imagine your focus as a pitcher of water, and each task you take on is a plant you need to water. And if you have 1 or 2 plants, you're all good. But if you have a garden full of plants and you try to water them all with that single pitcher, all of them are eventually going to shrivel up and die because there isn't enough water. So as you climb the hierarchy of success, you're going to have more opportunities presented to you. Now remember, yes to one opportunity is a no to another, and your focus is your most powerful currency, and your time is your most important asset. So save it for what is going to move the needle the most, and say no to everything else. Now, the final habit is one I learned early on from one of my teachers, and that is to question everything around you, because questioning conditions you to view the world through a different lens. So who can help me with this the most? What am I doing that can be done better? How can I do this faster? It's not until you question what's possible that your brain starts to look for answers. And it's not just yourself, but with other people as well. So don't just blindly accept what people tell you, even me. So look at what others are saying and ask yourself, is this true for my situation? What is the other person's motives? Are they credible? Questioning forces you to pause and think. So although this is what's worked for me, try it in your own life and question if it's something you want to incorporate. So now that you know the 7 habits, how do you actually put it into practice and not become one of the many people who only listen to information but never apply it? Well, I made a video walking you through how to reset your brain in the next 7 days with a dopamine detox. And this will make implementing these habits 10 times easier. So I highly recommend you give it a watch, and you can click on the video on the screen and it will take you there.